Good afternoon, Illinois. First, I would like to give thanks and honor to God for his mercy and his generosity. It is my honor to acknowledge the presence of my pastor, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss III, pastor of Trinity United Church of Christ, the greatest church this side of the River Jordan. Thank you for being here today, Pastor, and thank you for your prayer this morning, and thank you for reminding us in church yesterday to get our spiritual refill. I must also recognize two people in the judiciary, each of whom I refer to as my big sister, fellow Trinitarian Federal District Court Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman, who administered my oath 4 years ago, and my other big sister and mentor, Illinois Supreme Court Justice Joy Cunningham, who swore me in moments ago. I offer up my heartfelt gratitude to you for your steadfast mentorship through the years. I want to give a shout out to my biological sisters who could not make it here this time. They were with me the last time, Edwidge and Ninaj Raoul. So I was told I only got 3 minutes to deliver my remarks. And so I got to tell you, I'm going to fail at my first task as in my second term. However, in the interest of time, the entirety of my remarks will be the thank you section of my speech. First, to my wife, Dr. Lisa Moore, who is always by my side. Thank you, sweetheart. I had the distinct honor of watching my wife be a true hero during our unprecedented pandemic. Day after day, she would faithfully head to the hospital at a time when many of us were safe in our homes. I watched her be a hero one night early in my first term while we were eating dinner at Gibson's, and she administered life-saving care to a woman who was choking on her steak on the table right next to us. She saved a life, yes, but the real cool thing about it is now when I forget to make a reservation, we get into Gibson's anyway, not because I'm the AG, because she's a celebrity over there now. To my son, Che, who was unfortunately robbed of a college graduation ceremony when the pandemic hit, notwithstanding the fact that he had earned honors for his academic performance at Lake Forest College. Son, you have amazing character. Che had the strength of character to quit his first job as a manager at a fulfillment center because he didn't support having to impose discipline quotas and unfair working conditions on his subordinates. Che embodies the spirit of my Workplace Protection Bureau, which has done an amazing job of protecting Illinois workers from misclassification, wage theft, discrimination, and unsafe working conditions. In Illinois, we protect working families, and I want to thank you, Che, for affirming that spirit. My daughter, Mizan, who could not be here, she recently graduated from the University of Missouri and now desires to attend law school and become a public interest lawyer. Go figure. I was so pleased to drive into the state of Missouri to attend her graduation last year, but not as nearly happy as I was to drive out of Missouri and get her the hell out of a state that does not respect a woman's right to make decisions about her body. Thank you, Ms. Zahn, for reminding me how dedicated I have to be to protecting those rights. And we're in court doing so. I think as highly of my daughter as I do my Solicitor General, who has expertly argued before the D.C. Court of Appeals that the ERA is the 28th Amendment of the United States Constitution. When she's about to become a lawyer, I want my daughter to someday to be able to hold up her right hand and swear under oath to protect the Constitution of the United States of America. But I want that to be a Constitution that protects her as an equal. My stepson, John, is a student at Morehouse College. Pastor Moss, he is a Morehouse man in the making. On the heels of George Floyd's murder, he and my daughter had vigorous debates with me on issues connected to police reform. Those debates influenced me to take action and convene law enforcement partners to agree on language in the Safety Act that would lead to greater trust in law enforcement, better training for officers, and greater accountability for bad actors. In other words, the Safety Act language enhances our ability to maintain constitutional and professional policing throughout the state of Illinois. I want to thank the chiefs of police, the sheriffs, and the state's attorneys for coming to the table in good faith. My niece and goddaughter, Sydney Jackson, graduated with honors in computer engineering from Johns Hopkins University and then got her master's degree in computer science from there as well. Sydney has been instrumental in educating me about the good and the bad of technology. On account of conversations with her, I am proud that we are leading an effort, along with other state AGs, to investigate social media platforms that pose potential dangers to our children. I'm also happy that our criminal team is investigating the criminal use of online platforms to monetize proceeds of organized retail crime for other criminal use. I was happy to attend Sydney's graduation a few years ago, and during that ceremony, the commencement speaker was Brian Stevenson, and he delivered a powerful address. It turns out he was also her brother's commencement speaker 2 years later. He said that there is a justice deficit in this country. He said, we have a criminal justice system that will treat you better if you are rich and guilty than if you are poor and innocent. Those words ring relevant today as we prepare for arguments before our state's high court with regards to the Pretrial Fairness Act. Consistent with our constitutional presumption of innocence, we should not hold people in jail simply because they are poor. We cannot continue to criminalize poverty. Importantly, I want to thank my outstanding staff. They say that when you're an incumbent running for re-election, that your best campaigning is what you have done while in office. There were certain matters that I expected to take on at the outset of my term in 2019. I knew we had to begin the implementation stage of the consent decree with the Chicago Police Department and work towards a model of constitutional policing. I knew we had to continue work on behalf of survivors of abuse in the Catholic Church. I knew we had to continue protecting communities from sexually violent people, and I knew we would have to protect consumers from fraud, price gouging, the opioid crisis, and predatory student loans. And I knew we would have to fight policies that were put in place by the incumbent president at the time that I was sworn in. Many of those policies threaten environmental protections, health care access. Some encourage inhumane treatment of immigrants, and some violated the rights of the LGBTQ community. I also knew we had to fight the rise in hate. My staff has risen to the task on all these things expected. But I've got to tell you that what impressed me most about my staff was their ability to take on all of the things that were unexpected. I did not expect that we would be partnering with other state AGs and other lawyers nationally to literally save our democracy. And then there was the unprecedented coronavirus that hit us in the spring of 2020. Our Workplace Rights Bureau had to rise to the occasion to protect those whom we learned to call essential workers from unsafe working conditions. Whether in person or virtually, my staff also had to battle countless frivolous legal actions that sought to undermine life-saving emergency protocols that had been put in place by our governor and other public health officials. Policies which have demonstrably saved lives in the state of Illinois as compared to surrounding states that were more lax. Yeah, you can clap to that. We were forced into this predicament while working from remote locations, which meant we were heavily reliant on technology. We certainly did not expect at that moment for our office to be hit by a crippling cyber attack. I'm proud to say that the ransomware attack did not stop my staff's work. I want to sincerely thank you for your resilience and ability to adapt and continue representing the people of the state of Illinois. I'm also proud of the relationships we built with our law enforcement partners. We are one team. Notwithstanding the fact that I joke that I'm currently the favorite defendant of about 65 state's attorneys, I think it's important for the public to know that we've enjoyed a good history of working together. I work closely with state's attorneys throughout Illinois on the opioid crisis, prosecuting murder, violent crime, and sophisticated criminal schemes like organized retail crime. And I'm thankful for partnerships with prosecutors and law enforcement from federal, state, and local levels. I want to recognize and thank U.S. Attorney Greg Harris, who I believe is here today, for allowing our office to partner with his to fight violent crime and also protect children from online child predators. Since 2019, we've also partnered with the United States Secret Service's National Threat Assessment Center on multiple training sessions regarding how to detect and prevent mass shootings in schools, places of worship, and other public places. The desperate need for these trainings hit home on July 4th of 2022 in Highland Park. One of our own prosecutors and his wife were wounded during that shooting. One took a bullet to the elbow and the other shrapnel to the back. What was amazing was that prosecutor's desire to return to work. He actually emailed his supervisor that night he was shot and asked for a single day off. He was head of our statewide grand jury unit that has investigated and prosecuted gun trafficking cases. I believe he perfectly exemplifies the dedication of our staff. As I reflect on the Highland Park shooting, I can't help but reflect on the 2 other mass shootings that took place mere weeks later. One mass shooting was in Washington Park on the south side of Chicago, a block away from where I raised my children. The other in Garfield Park on Chicago's west side. Neither of those mass shootings received the same level of media attention as Highland Park. As a matter of fact, it wasn't really until recently we started referring to such shootings as mass shootings, all because of where they occurred. We all need to look in the mirror and ask why that is the case. Illinois and the nation were traumatized by the horrific event that struck Highland Park. People, including myself, were rightfully shocked that such an extreme violence had visited a place like Highland Park. But there should be no neighborhood where we expect gun violence to hit. We shouldn't be surprised when a shooting takes place downtown or in River North, where I currently live. We shouldn't be surprised when we've tolerated them and we've expected them on the west and south side of Chicago, in Rockford, in East St. Louis, on the east side of Springfield, and other economically disadvantaged areas of our state. I'll say about gun violence what I've said about the opioid and heroin crisis. We weren't troubled when we thought they were quarantined to poor inner city neighborhoods. We actually tolerated the impact of the heroin and opioid addiction until it spread to more affluent areas. That should not be our normal, and we should be ashamed. Now, I know I went long, and I apologize to my constitutional officers, but my final thank you is to someone not here today, my mother. My mom was a praying woman and a devout Catholic from Haiti. My mother made her transition months after I began my first term. She gave me my middle name, Eve. I had always assumed that I'd been given the name of a distant relative. The truth is, she named me after St. Eve, the patron saint of lawyers and abandoned children, and the advocate of the poor. My mom explained that she said the prayer to St. Eve every night since I was born. Help us to love justice as you love it. Help us to know how to defend our rights without prejudice to others, and seeking above all reconciliation and peace. Rouse up defenders to plead the cause of oppressed so that justice may be done in law. I view that as my responsibility as Attorney General, to serve the abandoned children. And in Illinois, we have abandoned our children. Gun violence has surpassed auto accidents as a number one killer of children. I'm asking our legislature to give me the power. Give me the power to go after those in the industry on behalf of our children who we've abandoned. Do not pass half measures and go home. Do not surrender to the politics of self-preservation on behalf of our children. Please do not. I want to thank you all for tolerating me. I know I went way, way beyond 3 minutes, but it's on behalf of our abandoned children. I want to just end by, I love you too. Saying this is truly the work of my life. I got more work to do. May God bless the state of Illinois. May God bless the United States of America. And may God bless and help us protect our abandoned children. Thank you.